الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن فضلك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Alhamdulillah, we have tawfiq to continue our study of Bidayat Hikmah. Tonight we start with chapter 7 of 10th section. Chapter 7 is about the mover. في فاعل الحركة. We said we have in Haraka 6 things. Mabda, origin, muntaha, destination, متحرك which is موضوع الحركة, محرك which is فاعل الحركة, the doer is the mover, and we have masafa and zaman. So we have 6 aspects in haraka. So alhamdulillah, mabda, muntaha we discussed, موضوع الحركة which is متحرك we discussed. Now we want to talk about فاعل الحركة وهو المحرك, محرك, the one that creates haraka, mover. So we have the moving, which is متحرك, the mover, which is محرك. يجب أن يكون المحرك غير المتحرك. The mover is different from the one which is moving. Why? Because what is haraka? Haraka, we said, is gradual change from potentiality to actuality. If something is moving towards actuality, it means that he doesn't have that actuality, it's potential. Quwwa means not to have. Actuality means to have. So, how something which is moving towards actuality give that actuality to itself? We need something else that gives motion or haraka to متحرك. يجب أن يكون المحرك غير المتحرك. It's necessary that the mover would be different from the one which is moving. إذ لو كان المتحرك هو الذي يوجد الحركة في نفسه. Because if متحرك, the one which is moving, was the same thing that was creating haraka in itself, لازم أن يكون شيء واحد فاعلا وقابلا من جهة واحدة. The same thing had to be فاعل وقابل. فاعل means the one who gives فعليات, actually. قابل is the one who accepts. من جهة واحدة, with respect to the same point, from the same concept. You know, there is no problem that something from one aspect is potential, from another aspect is actual. It's not a problem. But for the same thing that is potential to be actual, it's a problem. You know, right now, for example, I may have some quality, I may lack another quality. That's not a problem. But how can I lack a quality that I have? Or how can I create something that I don't have?
But then that muharrik is going to be the mutaharrik in relation to another muharrik.
Yes.
So it's like a chain.
Yes, so we will talk about it. That where does that end?
Yes. Can we say in terms of intensity, maybe you can lack something that you already have, at higher levels of something you have at a lower level?
Anyway, you cannot give yourself what you lack. لازم أن يكون شيء واحد فاعلا وقابلا من جهة واحدة. If محرك and متحرك are going to be the same, the same thing has to be فاعل and قابل, giver and taker, the one that takes. وهو محال. Why? Because فإن حيثية الفعل هي حيثية الوجدان. حيثية means aspect. فعلية means you possess. وجدان means to have, possession. حيثية القبول. قبول means potentiality means فقدان, you lack. Because you only take what you don't have. We said last session, if something is completely actual, would not have any potentiality, therefore cannot have any حركة. لا معنى لكون شيء واحد واجدا وفاقدا من جهة واحدة. A single thing cannot be for the same point واجد or فاقد, فاعل or قابل. It cannot be. Or you can put it in this way. المتحرك هو بالقوة بالنسبة إلى الفعل الذي يحصل له بالحركة. متحرك is potential with respect to that actuality that is going to happen through حركة. So if it is بالقوة means فاقد له, means it doesn't have it. وما هو بالقوة, something which is potential, لا يفيد فعلا, cannot give actuality. Okay, so we need mover. متحرك cannot be mover. Question: what about that muharrik? That muharrik also needs to be mutaghayyir. Yeah? Why? Because suppose today I don't have something as actuality. Tomorrow I am going to have it. So this means it comes from outside. But the one that gives me this, if had it in the first time, why it didn't give me? So there must be a change in that. Either didn't have it or didn't have the will and irada for giving to me. So if I am changing, it means that the condition one level higher than me also must have changed. Yeah? Because you cannot suppose that there is a fixed muharrik, that is fixed, not changeable, but what is under it is changing. Okay? If sun is shining and it's fixed on you, then you must always have light. If you sometimes have light, sometimes you don't have light, then it means that sun is not always shining on you. There must be a change. Okay? So anything which is mutaharrik needs to be under something which is also changing. We are talking about the nearest thing, not about everything above it. Al-fa'ilul qarib, the nearest thing to this, should be also changeable. Because there must be a way to explain why it didn't have this quality before and now it has been given. There must be a change over there. Okay?
Can you give an example, please?
Yeah. For example, if, as example of sun, I said, for example, or example of us, if we are, for example, being given a knowledge that we were not given, you must be able to explain it how this was not given yesterday and has been given today. If the nearest thing to me is not admitting change and is the same thing as yesterday that I didn't have knowledge, how do you explain this difference? Why yesterday I didn't have and today I have if he is the same?
So have I changed or the giver has changed?
I am changed because of that, because I am just mutaharrik. He is changing me, he is moving me, okay? So if he is moving me, then there must be a change.
So the change is in
Like for example, or very simple, suppose you take a toy, a car, and with your hand, you take it from this side of the desk to the other side of the desk. You are muharrik, the car is mutaharrik. But because this muharrik was here, the car was here. When the muharrik is here, so because my hand is moving and changing, the car is also changing. If my hand was not changing, the car was not also changing. Okay?
both are changing.
Pardon?
Both are changing.
Yes. يجب أن يكون الفاعل القريب للحركة. The nearest فاعل قريب means because sometimes you have a hierarchy, you have a chain. The nearest one, that also should be أمرا متغيرا. فاعل قريب for حركة means the first thing that creates حركة should be أمرا متغيرا متجددا بالذات. Should be something which is changeable and in its essence it changes. Why? Because if it was fixed as لو كان أمرا ثابت الذات, if it was fixed in its essence without any change and fluidity, كان الصادر منه أمرا ثابتا. If it was fixed, then the one which happens from him also must be fixed. فلم يتغير جزء من الحركة إلى غيره من الأجزاء. Then no part of the motion could change to another part. لثبات علته, because its illa is fixed, so the ma'lul which is متحرك حركة should also be fixed. من غير تغير في حالة, that illa has not changed, so that should remain same. فلم تكن الحركة حركة, so then حركة would not be حركة because it is fixed. And هذا خلف. This is خلاف الفاس.
And also nothing would come from it.
Pardon?
If it was fixed, nothing would come from it.
Nothing changeable would happen. There is no problem that something fixed coming from something fixed.
Okay.
But something fixed coming, something which is changeable coming from something which is fixed is a problem. Yeah? Because then you cannot explain where does this change come.
Can you just give an example of something fixed that comes from something fixed?
Yeah. Like Allah created angels. Angels are not changing, Allah is not changing. It's not a problem. So now a question happens. The question is arising.
Is it possible for? Is it okay to say that when the angels are not changing, our lives also not changing? I lost the train of thought. Is it because? Can we say that the first level of aql will never change from the wajib al-wujud?
Aql does not change. Uqul ashara are fi'liyat mahs. They don't change.
Oh, that answers.
Okay. Now, a question may also have come to your mind. That if this is going to continue, then it means that even Allah has to be changeable. Because you say the nearest thing, but what about the nearest goes for that one, and that for that one? So it would have no end. So either you should believe in door or tasalsul, which both of them are wrong, or you have to accept that you have something fixed which can create harakah. Okay? This is a big question. الفصل الثامن في ارتباط المتغير بالثابت. One of the most difficult issues in philosophy is this question. How to explain connection between something which is changeable to something which is fixed. Allah is fixed world is changing. Maybe I told you sometime before, or you have heard. They say that Imam Khomeini was told about a person who has connection with Imam Mahdi Sheikh. And he was not very much happy with such claims, and he was not taking this seriously. But they say no, he's really special and he has connection. So Imam Khomeini said, I have 3 questions in my mind. Ask him to get the answer from Imam Mahdi. And then that person, after some time, Imam Mahdi said that it's not maslaha that you know the answer. So didn't give the answer. Anyway, so I remembered 2 of them. I don't remember right now. I think it was 3, but I remember 2. One was that Imam Khomeini had a collection of his own poems, Divan Sher, which were missing. And he wanted to know where it is. Not perhaps that much because of the subject itself, because it was something that no one knew. He wanted. Another thing was the connection between Sabit and Mutaghayyir. So either because this is a very difficult subject, or maybe this is something that ordinary people cannot talk about it. So he had something sensual and something very intellectual to test. So it's a very difficult question. ارتباط المتغير بالثابت. Most of people, when they think of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they think of Allah as someone who is changing. For example, he may get angry at us, he may be pleased with us, yeah? He may, for example, forgive, something like this. As if he's someone that, like us, goes through change and time and with generation by generation, but he's older than us. Yeah, this is what most of people think. But he's fixed. In the West, there has been a philosophy, process called process philosophy, and Whitehead had this idea that God is changing. They even went that far. Even in theology, they said, and philosophy, they said God is changing. But we say God is not changing. God who is changing cannot be wajibul wujud al-zat, because wajibul wujud al-zat wajibun min jami' al-jihad. He's talked about it before. Yes.
What about الآية كل يوم هو في الشأن?
So that is about his action, not about himself. So he is not changeable, but we see there are changes in the world. Something happens today, didn't happen yesterday. Okay? So how we explain changes in the world if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not changing? ربما قيل إن وجوب استناد, which means وجوب استناد المتغير المتجدد إلى علة متغيرة متجددة مثله يوجب استناد علته المتغيرة المتجددة أيضا إلى مثلها في التغير والتجدد. It might be said that if it is necessary to attribute this changeable thing to a cause which is changeable, then that also must be, that cause which is changeable must be attributed to another cause higher which is changeable. وَهَلُمَّ جَرَّ, and this continues. وَيَسْتَلْزِمُ ذَلِكَ إِمَّا التَّسَلْسُلْ أو الدور أو التغير في المبدأ الأول. Either you have to accept tasalsul, say no, we go endlessly, then it's a problem, then we would not have wajib wujud. Or you want to do vicious circle, which is not acceptable, or you must say there is no tasalsul, it would end somewhere, and that is God, but God is also changeable. Ta'ala an dhalik. God is higher than changing. What is the answer? This is a very good answer. The answer is that something which is changing needs the cause which is changing. But we can reach the point that we have something which in its essence is changing. So, you have something and then you give haraka to it. This needs change in the cause. But suppose we have a cause which creates at once something which has changed in its essence. Then the cause doesn't need to change. Okay? I explained, I think, for you sometime in Aqaid and philosophy that according to Quran, we can have this understanding. I'm not saying definitely, but it seems very legitimate to say that the whole creation for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is only one thing. وَمَا أَمْرُنَا إِلَّا وَاحِدٌ. How many things Allah has created? One thing. Yes, that one thing includes many, many things inside. For us who are limited in our time and space, we cannot see past, we cannot see future, we go through changes. But the whole universe for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is present at one time and one point. Even when I say at one time, I don't mean time. Yeah, we are expanded for ourselves, not for him. Yeah, you are, for example, I don't know, 1 meter 80, 70 centimeter for yourself and for me and other people, not for God. It is true that God knows how we look at each other. God knows how we experience time. God knows how we experience history, but not him being into our history. Understand the difference? The big difference. He understands the human understanding of history, but he himself doesn't live like us in history. He understands what you feel in this location, but he is not in this location. Okay? Like he understands me and you, but he's not inside me and you. Masha'un even didn't go at the level of Allah. In the level of tense aql, they solved this problem. Yeah? So they say aql fa'al The tense aql is the one who is running, managing, creating, moving this physical world without itself being changed. So, if you are creating gradual change, you need also to change. But if you create something with the change inside it being essential to it, then you don't need to change. Like for example, if I am moving this car, toy, from one side of the desk to the other side, I have to change. But if I create a car that inside has the engine, then I don't need to continue changing. I created it in this way. Okay? وأجيب بأن التجدد والتغير, this being changing and going through gradual process, ينتهي إلى جوهر متحرك بالجوهر, finally ends with a substance that in its substance, its essence is moving. So haraka is not given to it little by little. When it was created, it created as a mutaharrik. فَيَكُونُ التَّجَدُّدُ ذَاتِيًّا لَهُ. So this tajaddud means to be renewed, to be changing. It's essential. فَسْيَصِحُ اسْتِنَادُهُ إِلَىٰ إِلَّةٍ ثَابِتَةٍ تُوجِدُ ذَاتَهُ. So we can attribute it to a cause which is fixed and creates its essence. So the cause is fixed and creates only at one point. But inside, the substance is changeable. As I said, like you create a machine that runs. لأن إيجاد ذاته عين إيجاد تجدده. Because we don't have two things, a fixed essence and then gradual haraka should be given to it. To create this essence means to create tajaddud, because in its substance, in its essence, change is there. Okay, so
Sheikh, a fixed thing that creates something changeable.
yes,
Does the fixed thing ultimately we need to have that willingness is to know of or to create of change, to have within it the knowledge of change.
yes.
So the fixed thing was know of.
The knowledge of the change is not changing.
Okay, the knowledge of the change is not changing. Okay.
And also the knowledge of particulars is not divided.
Mhm.
So it can be one at the same time, including many. Ninth chapter is about fifth element of haraka. Fil masafa. Distance. But distance is not always like a road. As soon as we hear distance, we think, okay, 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, 100 meters. No. If the haraka is in maqulatul ayn, if haraka is in location, then distance is in meter, kilometers, whatever. But haraka can be in other categories.
Color.
Yes, so haraka can be kayf, in quality. And quality, it can be like in color, in taste, in softness, for example. These are all qualities. Yeah? Haraka can be in waz, like something goes around itself. The location is not changing. This is harakat in waz. Yes.
Well, I've just been thinking, I just need to ask is, can you use the argument that, going back to the previous one,
Yeah.
is God is absolute, therefore have no change. And
Not
anything-
that cannot.
I mean, like, he's absolute in the sense.
When you say you are correct, but I just wanted to emphasize when we say can have
Yeah,
no
that's-
change,
Yeah, that's not the right wording. I know.
not in the sense that
Yeah.
he has limit.
Yes, that's right. He's absolute. Therefore, when he creates, the created thing is a lesser of something. The lesser of something won't be absolute.
Yes, sure.
Therefore, it will be prone to change. Can
No.
You,
No,
no.
it's not that either you have to be absolute or you have to change.
Okay.
Even among those things which are not absolute, which are mumkin, some of them are mujarrad at all. So Allah has created different realms of the world. In the realm of mujarradat, they are makhluq, they are created, but they are not changing.
So it depends on the hierarchy of those,
Yes.
those things. So the higher the hierarchy,
In the lowest level,
they are more prone to change.
there are changes.
Okay, that's fine. I understand.
الفصل التاسع في المسافة التي يقطعها المتحرك بالحركة. It's about the distance that the moving object with حركة travels. Yeah? But again, not travels only in location, it can be traveled in quality. مسافة الحركة هي الوجود المتصل السيال الذي يجري على الموضوع المتحرك. Allah here defines masafa based more on transcendent philosophy. So a bit looks maybe difficult, but this is more accurate. What is masafa? We said masafa is the distance or the length or the duration of change. Okay? Change can be in time, change can be in location, change can be in condition, change can be in quality. Even according to Mullah Sadr, change can be in substance. But suppose a simple type of harakah. If something is changing in color, what is happening? Suppose something starts from green, like tomato. You know, tomato first is green. Then it becomes red. What is happening here? How many colors are there? Here in reality, we don't have one color or two colors, green and red, or 100 colors. We have a continuous spectrum of colors. At each point, you can zoom and say, at this point, this is the color. Another point, you zoom and say, this is the color. But you are looking at it at one point, although that is not stopping at any point. Remember, we said haraka is fluid, doesn't stop. So we abstract this note of color, this type or a species of color, by supposing that if it stops. You remember when I was talking about haraka, I said about, there are two types of clocks. Yeah. So another example, if something is moving from this side of the desk to the other side of the desk, does it stop at any point? No. It's not that it stops, then it moves. It stops and moves. No. It's moving constantly, but I can look at it and say, now it's here. But it didn't stop. I am stopping it in my consideration. Yeah? Or I say now it is very close to the end. So, something which is continuously changing, but we are in our consideration fixing it so that we can abstract. You know, like for example, something, imagine a plane is flying and you have camera, not a video recorder, just get pictures, yes, snapshots. So you cannot say, when the plane stopped here, I took a picture. When the plane was above my home, I took it. It didn't stop. But you took the picture at one point. Our mind also does this. When something is moving, at every point, our mind takes a picture and says, this is the color. But it never stopped in that color or in that shade of the color. Okay? So distance is that fluid existence. Al-wujud, al-muttasil, as-sayyal is the existence which is connected, it's not disconnected. Okay? There is no stops. There are no stops. Sayyal, fluid. الذي يجري على الموضوع المتحرك, which happens to that subject which is moving, like the color of it, like the taste of it, like the location of it. وينتزع منه لا محالة مقولة من المقولات. Then one category will be abstracted. لكن لا من حيث إنه متصل واحد متغير. But when you abstract, it's not that you consider it as something which is continuing, it's single but changeable. We have to stop. Because there is no tashkik in mahiyya. If you remember when we were talking about tashkik, we said tashkik is only in existence. You cannot say something is, for example, a horse, and this is more horse. It becomes horser. Either it is horse or not. Or with respect to colors, you cannot say something becomes greener. We don't have greener. We have different colors, and these colors are at each point different. But this thing doesn't stop. But our mind looks, abstracts one color.
Sorry, so this movement or haraka that we're looking at now and we discussed previously, is this haraka only in Mahiyya or is it haraka in the Johar as well?
Johar is also Mahiyya. So he will talk about it next page. That in the past they used to say haraka is only in A'raz. Because Mahiyya is Johar and Araz. They used to say haraka is only in A'raz, only in 4 A'raz. Sham, Kayf, Mata, Ain. Okay? But Mullah Sadra believed that even in Johar we have haraka. Ibn Sina was not accepting haraka in Johar because he was saying that we need a fixed subject. And if haraka is in Johar, means we don't have any fixed and common subject. We will talk about it. So, يُنْتَزَعُ مِنْهُ, from that fluid existence, it would be abstracted. What? معقولة. One category would be abstract. لكن لا من حيث إنه متصل واحد متغير, but not insofar as it is one thing which is continuing and changing. Because from that there is no mahiyya, that's wujud. Mahiyya is only point. There is no tashkik in mahiyya. فَإِنَّ اللَّازِمَهُ, because if it was taken from that point that it is muttasil, it means that tashkik must occur in mahiyya. وَهُوَ مُحَالٌ. We don't have tashkik in mahiyya. بل من حيث إنه منقسم. منقسم يعني يقبل القسمة, not that it has qismah. We don't have really different parts. It's one line.
But it can be.
We can take a snapshot. من حيث إنه منقسم إلى أقسام آنية الوجود. It accepts to be divided into parts which happen at once, in a moment. On means moment. كل قسم من نوع من أنواع المقولة. At each point, it's different from the previous point or next point. مباين لغيره, which is different from other parts. كنمو الجسم مثلا. When something is growing, its size is growing, it's increasing. فإنه حركة منه في الكم. You have for example, watermelon which is growing. What is happening to this? Its size, its cam is changing. But cam is mahiyya. Mahiyya cannot become stronger or more. It's fluid, but you can go and measure it and say, okay, now it's 20 centimeter, now it is 30 centimeter, now it's 40 centimeter. But centimeter is not increasing, or the length is not increasing, because kam is mahiyya, which is not accepting tashkik. كالنمو الجسم مثلا فإنه حركة منه في الكم. Growth in some physical object is a motion in kam. يرد عليه في كل آن من آنات الحركة نوع من أنواع الكم المتصل. In every moment, it's one particular type, one particular species. But that species in only our abstraction. If you remember the whole question of asalatul wujud, we said what exists really, it's wujud. Mahiyya is the image that our mind takes from things. Yeah? If I have for example, paper in the shape of triangle. What is this triangle? This triangle is what my mind takes as a kind of mahiyya for this paper. Otherwise, paper is paper. This triangle is end of this paper. End of the paper is not inside the paper. So my mind can understand the paper by looking at inside or looking its limits, its borders. You understand? So in every moment of the moments of harakah, one type of a species of kam muttasil, connected quantity, occur, which is different from the one that was previous moment and the one which comes in the next moment. فمعنى حركة الشيء في المقولة أن يرد على الموضوع في كل آن نوع من أنواع المقولة. So when something moves in any category, it means that in every moment one species, one type of that maqula happens to it. It means you can abstract it from it, which is different from the no that in another moment happens to it. So masafa means there is a fluid existence, but you take fixed pictures, momentary pictures, but we don't have moments, it's continuous. So if haraka is in camp, you take different camp, anwa of camp. If haraka is in cave, you take different cave, like different taste.
This movement of beings and things,
Yeah.
is it continuous as in eternal in a way?
No, continuous is different from eternal. It can be continuous, but for 5 minutes. It can be continuous for half an hour. It means that in that period, it's one piece, not 100 or 1,000 of smaller pieces. One continuous haraka.
I was thinking more of, say, for example, we're taking apple, and at the point of the seed, there's continuous movement, but that fluidity continues until it decays.
Yeah.
And it decays, it goes into the earth, and then there is energy released, and then the whole cycle continues. Is there continuity in that respect with things? Because they say energy, never disappears.
But this goes back to the discussion whether the physical world is eternal or not. It seems that it had a beginning. There was a time that it didn't exist. Yeah? This discussion between mutakallimin and philosophers. Mutakallimin say it's hadith zamani. Philosophers say no, it is hadith zati, but qadim zaman. If you accept the idea of majority of philosophers, it means that this physical world always existed. It means you cannot find any time that it didn't exist. But mutakallimin say no. There is a limit in the life of this world. It didn't exist before that. So it depends on how you look at the question of hudus or qadam. Okay, so what we want to do, the issue of masafat has not finished. We just explained the meaning of masafa. And we said masafa means that it's a continuous and fluid existence. At each point you can take different anwa of maqula. Now we want to see in how many maqula, how many categories we can have haraka. And there are few pages here and 3 chapters, which includes discussion about harakat al-juhari, substantial movement. Then we will talk about zaman, time, which is the 6th element in harakat. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد